Returning to our Pleiadean home, Part 2. Question: how and why do we have an ability of transitioning between various worlds? Two types of transition. The entire holographic nature of the multiverse, like a multi-hole variety of cheese, is crammed with the possibilities of spontaneous transitions of various forms of self-consciousness between very different worlds, but which have certain characteristics of similarly qualitative structure. It is quite possible that very similar creatures were formed on different planets due to the presence of unique possibilities of the multiverse. The resonant connections between different types of consciousness and the space-time tunnels emerged on the basis of realization of the cosmic principle of diffusgentness, world interpenetrability. However, people are usually interested more not about the spontaneous transition to other spatio-temporal continuums performed without their desire and permission, but just the opposite. How can a person at some point become a conscious representative of some of the very advanced human cosmic civilizations? Let me surprise you with the fact that not only you want the same qualitative transformations, but also the very essence of the multiverse, whose transcendental existential experience is comprised of the countless instances of realization of interest of every single form of self-consciousness existing within it wants the same. Therefore, all the possible realities of this essence of the multiverse contain multitude of simultaneous opportunities for the realization of our cognitive interests in the most diverse conditions throughout various space-time continuums. One of the many mechanisms of such cardinal transformations of our low vibration states of consciousness into much higher vibrational ones is a powerful quantum effect of a planetary magnitude. This mechanism represents a periodically arising in the dynamics of our star essence, the Sun, a concentrated ejection from the solar plasma of a unique cocktail of ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma radiation. The evolutionary effect following a similar irradiation of our physical bodies depends on the parameters of its power and compatibility with other emissions. For instance, the shorter the wavelength of the solar ultraviolet, the more cardinal changes it will cause in our body. With reference to our human forms, I define this multi-level quantum process as an inversion ray refocusing, as a result of which low vibration elements in the perception system of each personality are annihilated, while the creators of higher vibration structures acquire an additional energy resource. At the very moment of inversion ray refocusing, gamma quantum radiation in combination with X-ray radiation form a powerful front of wide air showers, which contribute to the rapid advancement of both ours as well as the planetary self-consciousness qualitative transformation. Why? Because when form creators of self-consciousness, which we subjectively perceive as an X-ray radiation, pass through our bodies, they actively interact with the forms of self-consciousness of atoms and molecules of the latter, correspondingly transforming the certain segments of our DNA and therefore the entire structure of our currently focusable physical form. This is due to the fact that the interaction with the fermion self-consciousness form creators is accompanied by the absorption of already present within us quants of lower frequency energy, enriching the X-ray radiation with the more positive, highly vibrational quantum energy of self-consciousness form creators of the collective subconsciousness. Depending on the intensity, the inversion ray refocusing can have completely different consequences of the state of our biological forms of self-consciousness. It occurs in either scenario. An act of powerful refocusing, a change in the individually conscious scenario, occurs towards much higher quality human forms of more favorable realities after the conditional death from a lifeless organism into another form of the human incarnation. Or an act of instant teleportation of the physical body into long-desired existential conditions. In the first scenario, you lose, through the death mechanism, the interconnection with your individual memory, instead acquiring the memory of your new individual interpretation. While in the second scenario, instantaneous teleportation, you partially retain your current memory, only bright and joyful part of it. However, you also acquire a number of secondary physiological consequences of some inconsistency of your current manifestation form with the qualitative conditions of your new world of existence. Nevertheless, more advanced human civilizations have effective measures developed for balancing of all the parameters of your body in unison with the parameters of your new surrounding reality. Qualitative Worlds Transition Criteria. So, what is the most important criteria that will guarantee you the post-inversion ray refocusing transition into realities of your long-awaited and persistent strive? The most reliable guarantor is the presence in your individual self-consciousness of a sustainable spiritual interest and the absence of a multitude of other misbalancing, immediate, hustling, and selfish interests. It is that thought image of your cherished objective, for the sake of which you are ready to sacrifice everything else in your life, which is the primary determining factor, naturally facilitating the process of further transformation of your consciousness within the framework of your new reality, following the act of an inversion ray refocusing. Do you want to be aware of yourself living in a highly developed human civilization associated in your perceptions with a kind of spiritual, cosmic, stellar, galactic home? Not a problem. Simply form in your mind a powerful and sustainable motivation for the realization of this interest as the primary objective of your life, and begin to paint it in your imagination, with various interesting and fascinating details, important nuances, creative characteristics, along with any extrasensory abilities you wish to acquire. Believe me, the multiverse, the creators of the subconscious and the superconscious, is sure to find the perfect world that ideally corresponds to your expectations and hopes, as well as the mechanism of your transition there. If you do it seriously, trying to conform and not just appear to the chosen quality criteria, this will eventually become an absorbing essence of your personal self-consciousness, which will naturally become the determining factor in the process of your subsequent manifestation through the human forms. It is the configuration of self-consciousness which is our visiting card in the entire diversity of the multiverse self-consciousness forms, which for the representatives of highly developed human civilizations does not depend on any cosmic distances. You will be noticed and located once you will develop sufficiently. Trust me, it will inevitably happen. If not as a result of inversion ray refocusing, then due to the high vibration scenario change as a result of the posthumous refocusing into another embodiment. Stellar craft, flying saucer, evacuation scenarios. Many Itharian songs mention interstellar ships and various other stellar crafts. Let me elaborate closely on this topic. I was talking about an ordinary stellar craft belonging to various space civilizations when the entire space around the Earth and beyond is literally stuffed by them. Some of them are teleported from distant star systems. Others have bases on the Moon, Sirius, and Mars. In addition, our solar system has a multitude of various metric ships which represent the entire cosmic enclaves with many thousands and even millions of beings. Not only true humans realizing their interests in this region of the multiverse. Most of them having slightly altered the basic manifestation frequency of their craft become invisible to us and are not detected by our scientific equipment. Many of such stellar cities form around themselves such powerful torsion fields that to our scientists they appear as black holes of various sizes. This is the ordinary and trivial life of the cosmos, which has its own rigid rules and laws, the implementation of which is closely monitored by a coalition of observers of different levels and areas of responsibility, representing different types of collective cosmic intelligence. The sound space codes of some of them are already known to you. IFAR, which is highest collegial intellect of the multiverse. Asvat, the highest intellect of our galactic sector. Ulgru, the highest intellect of the Milky Way galaxy. Arglam, the creators of the highest intellect of the 12 united logos of stellar rings, and many more. By meditating on them, you will receive a lot of additional information regarding their tasks, objectives, development principles, etc. There are many scenarios where various space shuttles descend over the IFAR settlements simultaneously, and the humans, who are approximately 2.5 to 3.5 meters, which is 8.2 to 11.5 feet tall, wearing silver overalls, appear before the IFAR inhabitants and telepathically briefly explain that the purpose of their visit is the immediate evacuation of all who wish to depart to their native planet, at which point they name a planet's corresponding sound space code, since everyone present have fulfilled their terrestrial missions and can return home. Usually, this is the scenario of the initial contact, differing from the others only in technical details. Form of a craft, in some cases it makes a landing, in others it hovers over about 50-100 meters from the ground. The colors of their long palliums or flying suits may differ, the hair color may be light or dark, some of them approach people, others remain under the shuttle, some offer a tour of the ship, others do not. Out of all these details, the following distinctive feature characteristics of the most highly developed civilizations of the Pleiadian circle should be important to you. The Pleiadians usually utilize round or oval stellar craft. They immediately approach for a direct contact and do not wait near their shuttle. They are very tall, over 8 feet, and have an appearance of very beautiful human beings, mostly white-haired. However, the most important distinctive characteristic is that they instantly and positively react to any of the telepathically sent sound space codes. Ifar, Aswat, Ulgru, Arglam. If they know them and send the telepathies that you understand everything is in order, they are indeed Pleiadians. You can trust them entirely and follow their requests. If the gravity craft is hovering over the ground, each of you will need to step under it and you will immediately find yourself inside without even noticing or experiencing that you have just been dismantled into photons and instantly reconstructed back into your original Pleiadian appearance, at the same time naturally obviating from all the lower frequency perceptions, inclinations, earthly attachments and diseases. This becomes possible provided for the fact that our DNA has an indestructible and non-mutable group of genes originating from representatives of various Pleiadian civilizations, men and women, who participated in the implementation of the Gene Project with the sound space code Nu-Vu, Gracelis, Human of the Earth. The safety of the teleportation effect was ensured by the creators of the Universal Temporal Correction Genes, UTCG. All people on Earth have the same types of genes. However, while in most instances their genes, representing other civilizations participating in the project, reacted indifferently, the genes of those who intuitively accepted its ideology and resonated with the idea of creation of a global social order through the cities of light according to the Ifarian principles, were dominated by the Pleiadian group of gene creators. A special scanning device detects the corresponding code, adds an individual constituent to it for individualization, creating in the output a very specific and independent representative of the Pleiadian community. Thus, the way you can get to the gravity flyer is either by means of teleportation beam or through levitation ray. In the latter case, no external changes occur while the high vibrational component is energetically introduced into your human form configuration. It blocks any activity of the causal channel's inferior self-consciousness creator levels, which subsequently have very favorable effect on both spiritual and physical health. The entire organism quickly rejuvenates, the destructive part of memory is also blocked. In the latter case, you find yourself in a special Prestoller dispenser with small purifying cabins installed around the circle. Wait for a few seconds until all your clothes dematerializes, after which you can put on a silver flying suit and possibly a lone pallium of the same color, printed specifically for you by the special clothing printer. Only after that you can walk inside the craft's main premises and telepathically introduce yourself to the crew members, or you can also actually pronounce your sound code name. If the shuttle is on the ground, you should also go through the Prestoller dispenser first, block access channels, activate the higher frequency ones, otherwise you simply could not withstand the gravitational loads. Get dressed in the manner described above, and introduce yourself to the crew. Then you are placed in a semi-reclining position in a very comfortable and soft chairs, made informed of the final point of your route, after which the main lights are dimmed. Meanwhile, you sit and wait for something. However, absolutely nothing happens. There is no sense of flight, the craft remains absolutely motionless. And, after a few minutes of waiting in vain, you are finally invited to the exit hatch, where you find yourself standing under the transparent and very high dome of the gigantic congregational center of the cosmic exploration of the planet Ulysm, the 17th planet of the Alxia star, which is one of the 3280th suns of the Alcyon star's photon belt. On the Pleiades. Someone from the crew invites you all to walk over to a round transparent platform with steel handrails, and you silently hover above some breathtaking multi-story and multi-level structures, drowning in blue and emerald in harmony of beautiful flowers and plants of different sizes. Your guide, this can either be a male or a female, telepathizes you about the surroundings, provides information regarding the research center, and answers any questions you might have. You clearly feel his or her wonderful attitude, cordial warmth, care, and sincere desire to help. You also notice that the same quiet joy, a powerful desire to be useful and to openly give your warmth and sensuality to everyone, completely fills your heart. You can swim in the air alongside the similar platforms with other people of the usual height, and the very tall and very beautiful ones cordially smiling at you. All of them are dressed differently, but mostly in tight flying suits of different colors and long palliums, which, as you later learn, in combination with suits have many useful functions. They combine something similar to a powerful quantum computer together with a medical center. Some have transparent gadgets, generation quantum holograms on their forearms. From above through the dome you can see a pure, bluish emerald sky with pink lilac impregnations of small clouds. The sun is not visible. However, the air temperature is very comfortable and the air itself is little sweet, pleasantly smelling of flowers. At the bottom there are many fountains of different shapes and colors of water splattering in them. On a quiet background of very harmonious and soothing music there are bird-like, but not so sharp, sounds. You continue swimming in the air above the three high mountain waterfalls of pink, or rather amethyst, lilac, blue and brightly indigo colors, and the lemon golden edging of geysers, with a turquoise emerald lake located between them. Yes, in the beginning all newcomers from Earth are shocked by inconceivable combinations of vivid and bright colors, as well as complete absence of dark, brown, red, and in general dirty colors altogether. Nothing that at least somehow resembled the contours of the automobile is visible below. Having detected a surprise, the crew member telepathized that all robotics which serve the exorbitant, fully automated production complexes, the size of several of such congregation research centers, are located inside the planet. People do not live or work there, while only biorobots and highly specialized silicon-lithium punctuments, providing all residents and guests of Yilsm with absolutely everything they need. The primary domestic needs are provided by quantum super replicators of various types: food, clothing, shoes, small household item making, and so on, are not only located in each household, but also everywhere on the streets, cultural and scientific centers, parks, and places of creativity, just like numerous concluders disintegrating any object to the photon state, much more advanced level of garbage recycling. In the distance, one can see the blue indigo areas of the grass spreading like football fields. There are rectangular, round, oval, and of other shapes and sizes. Above some of them, monotonously and lowly fly some unmanned aircraft apparatuses. If asked regarding the nature of this craft, your guide would telepathize to you that these are called dividiculus, which are utilized for the cultivation of a vital and very useful plant, glavgma, which is used in scanty doses, but which has the strongest health-improving effect at the DNA level. Smiling young people quietly walk or sit in transparent armchairs around fountains and along lengthy rows of flowers, or fly silently on small transparent platforms, sometimes holding a small glowing ball in their hands. Some of them send you an air greeting with the palm of their hand. That is when you notice that there are no elderly people around you, only beautiful and wholesome young men and women of various heights. Children are also nowhere to be found. Soon, you air swim to the large domed arches and quietly float at a low altitude inside of almost empty transparent room to the center, resembling an amphitheater. The thought-guided platform descends on a low round stage. You descend from it, sit down into very comfortable chairs, and here you learn that for some time you will have to adapt to new existential conditions, develop additional abilities, skills and creative inclinations, in order to find your place within the community, as well as undergo medical examinations, rejuvenate and develop your intellectually sensuous characteristics, and much more. Next, you are offered a choice: to live in a separate housing or temporarily with someone else. On the same stage, you are shown a full-sized hologram of your 2- and 3-level apartments and are holographically driven around rooms, while your guide explains the purpose of various devices and house robotics. She or he introduces your new resting, working, and communication possibilities, as well as leisure time options, which you can share with friends at home and elsewhere. Holographic clarifiers, quantographs of the surrounding space, and visualizators, visualizers of hidden objects, will provide you with detailed navigation around and to any point on the center, surrounded by parks and gardens with flying and walking outlandish animals, only some of which resemble known to us pandas and squirrels, kittens and ducklings, horses and elephants. On one hand, the parks of the center are limited to a wide, blue-bluish river, while on the other to the pink-purple gentle beach of the sea. The gargantuan and very long suspension bridge connects the territory of the center with the City of Light, whose high domes are visible even at such a great distance. This is just about how, one day, your personal return to our stellar home can be realized with the help of Pleiadean Gravity Flyer. Then you become acquainted with other people who recently, just like you, have recently arrived in the same manner from other planets of other stellar systems, some of whom are more similar to Earthlings, while some are less. At the same time, as they stay in the center, all of them, just like you, will acquire distinctive, purely Pleiadian appearance and complexion. Broad, but not convex, shoulders, with an expressive chest in men and moderate convexities, slender waist, harmoniously long legs, graceful hands with long beautiful fingers in women. However, on the background of all these external changes, the reason of which lies in the fact that in parallel with the process of your rejuvenation and recovery, genes of the exact given Pleiadian, Sirius, or Aldebaran civilization initiating the corresponding changes in your phenotype will be powerfully expressed in your genome. Some of the general features of the earthly constitution in your appearance and behavior will be nevertheless clearly seen. In comparison with the representatives of the indigenous population, adapted female Earthlings have a more convex breasts, long and thin neck, not such long and thin fingers, slightly more curvy hips, while men have more muscular shoulders and arms, neck and calves, more convex genitals, wide and high chest. Your hair will also gradually acquire either a wheaten or a light chestnut shade. Later on, when you relocate to Mikan Sorbis, the source of eternal radiance, city of light, you will meet black-haired people there. However, this will only be temporary travelers arriving on their starships and teleporting to EU Yilsm from different planets of our galaxy. Most of them come from thousands of planets and suns of star systems like Seleno, Maya, Merope, Sterope, Taygeta and Electra, Atlanta and Pleion. All of them have completely different sound space codes. Incidentally, such activation in the process of intermixture rejuvenation in your DNA genes of one of the 8 civilizations, whose gravity craft has brought you to the base planet of your future stay, is not mandatory. You will be asked if you want to somehow change your appearance and offered several options. This is an indispensable condition for the existence of all civilizations, namely human, but not commonly humanoid type. Never force anyone to anything. This is one of the 28th defining provisions of the humanitarian freedom principles, without observance of which it is impossible for the civilization to further advance in the true human development direction. Therefore, you have the right to remain as you are and refuse both the very process of rejuvenation as well as any kind of manipulation with your appearance and/or body.